Now, in this case, we only have 2, but quite often these storyboards get filled with 20 to 50 illustrations, and they're batch published using the Publish Now capability there. So that's the first part of the demonstration, just a quick showing you how that you can organize into illustrations and storyboards, and then how those can be published to raster images. The next thing I'm going to do is create an animation. Along the way, though, we're going to learn a lot of tools that can be used to make it very easy to actually create images if that's what you're after as well. And we're actually going to highlight a thing called Smart Template technology. So we're going to automatically create a storyboard from our exploded view. And I think let's go ahead and do that. We have an exploded view. The first thing we want to do when we do this automation process is we want to set up our view because that view is going to be repeated. It's going to act as a template, if you will, for the Smart Template Publishing. So let's just let's make sure that our selection color is good. Let's actually pick a little different, brighter color maybe for selection. Excuse me. Let's. I think everything else is pretty good. In the orientation, let's get one of the exact ones. Let's take a straight up isometric there. So the next step then is we're going to actually default as the storyboard we're looking at right now down here at the bottom. This is the one that we captured manually. We're going to do this storyboard wizard, and we're going to use the exploded view to define what to put into that storyboard. And then we pick the exploded view 1. That's the exploded view we created, we captured earlier. We're going to make an assembly process. So we're going to reverse the steps in that exploded view. We're going to select the parts as they're assembled. So this will automate a lot of the manual work you would do to set up these kind of views. What we're going to end up with is a step-by-step process that builds upon each other to build this entire component. And then we're going to include a view for the assembled state. And when I hit finish, you'll notice that it creates a new storyboard, and then it automatically populates that storyboard with a step-by-step sequence based on the exploded view that we created earlier. So the first illustration it automatically makes is installing the circuit board. The second one is installing that component, and on until you see that the last one, go all the way back here, is the completed last step, install the casing, and then finally you have a completed product here. So once you have a storyboard like this, I can go here and we can just play it back if you want to see the entire animation as it is right now. Let's go to the first one. And you can hit play and it will start to go through and play this step-by-step process. But one thing that you notice is that you may want to modify these transitions since we're going to make an animation here. So there's a transition block in between each illustration on your storyboard. If I click it, it will show me just that animation. So if I keep clicking it, it repeats that, and we can modify it. So maybe we want a different transition. Accelerate to reverse is one of my favorites for assembly processes, because what it does excuse me, is it installs the component and then it moves to the new viewing position. So it works really well a lot of the time. Let's go ahead and change a lot of these to accelerate to reverses, and then we'll see how this plays out. You can also change the timing on these. You notice there's a 1 second below it. The timing can be changed, customized for each one or overall. And then the timing on pausing, on how long it's going to pause on each frame, can be set. So you can right-click this, and when it makes the animation, it defaults to it'll delay on each one to 1 second, but you can change it to 5 or enter whatever you would like. So if we look at our animation, let's go back to the start, and I'm just going to hit play. This is what we can expect to see when we publish out an AVI of this process. Now, making an AVI is really just one step, one thing that you might want to do with your animations here. There's others involved in our other product pages, and I will talk about that briefly after this demo. And then there's some things you might want to do with Word, which I'll actually talk about that too. So now that we have an animation, it's either time to publish that, or some of these you may want to tweak out. Like it'd probably be better if we watched this view from a different angle. So I can just do an edit illustration on the fly here. We can orient the view to where it's maybe a little better for that step, and then hit done. And just like any illustration, you also have the ability to add an overlay layer. So for example, if I wanted to add markups, again, we can just hit edit illustration. And maybe I just want to put the call number on for the parts that we're installing. So I could do that, and maybe I want to add a note to the scene here that says you can find these in some certain bin, some specific area. So you just maybe we just put bin number 1235 or something. So whatever notes, I don't want a balloon on that, so I'll disable the balloon. And then for each scene, you can do that. We just took this one here and made it as an example. And then for the animation, how this would work is that it would play to that scene, and it would display that information, and then continue on. That information would hide from there on out. So what we, and I guess the next step then is publishing. Same kind of process here. Instead of raster or vectors here, we're just going to hit movie. And then we pick the style of the movie, the frame rate, those kind of things. And then it's going to make us an AVI. You can also do Flash, create a movie that just plays in the Flash player. And that's pretty much how you can create an animation. So we'll close out that publisher. And then the final couple of things that I'm going to do with the, I'm actually just going to talk through the Word creation one here. You can actually take and create a Word document, and that would create a Word file that included all of the images in your storyboard. But it will also use the text. So for example, this one was automatically labeled Step 9. You could change the name of that, and that would provide a title for that image. And then you can actually add metadata to these and add paragraphs of information to each step. So you could do kind of a draft. You could actually do an assembly procedure from this information. To do that, there's this metadata panel, for example. And you can type in any metadata. So for example, we want to type in a description, install the circuit board, for example. And on the next one, we'll install the I/O board, and on and on. And that would be the process for setting this up. And the result would be, if I can grab one here, I will open up a Word document that shows what the results on that would be. After you go through and document each step, you can create this very easily. Power supply. And let me share the Word document. Okay, so we've done a little bit more work on this one, but you can see the name of of your illustration is placed here in the Word document, and then any text you might type automatically gets placed into the document, and then all the images are inserted as well. So you have a very straightforward method for creating a Word document from this product as well. And then, of course, like any other regular Word document, you can go into Word and edit that as desired. And the final thing that you can do that we'll cover today with Publisher is to create a 3D PDF. And in the Publisher product, this just will create a document with an interactive view that includes one big page with a 3D view filling the entire page. You can pick that to be either landscape or portrait. Now, if you're really interested in 3D PDF publishing, I'd encourage you to really look at our sister product, the Pages 3D product, because it allows you to do not only 3D, but page design, and we'll talk about that pretty much next. I think that segues out of the publisher demo and into the closing out here. Sorry about my throat here. I have a little cold, I guess. Okay. So we should be back. Let me make sure. Yep, we're back on PowerPoint here. Now that covered a good amount of the basics of the product. There's a lot more depth to the product. We alluded to large model management configurations. If you're, this is an important one, updates. If your design changes in engineering, then all your images and animations can be updated with the new design by simply re-importing it, and that's an advanced feature. All these advanced features, if you pay attention, we're going to have a advanced features webinar here in the next few weeks, and we'll cover all of these one at a time. Smart Template, we went over some of that, but there's a lot more that can be done with Smart Templates on the automation side. BOM management, explode tools, merge models, all kinds of different features that add depth to the product and give you the tools you need to get illustrations and animations out. Okay, last thing I want to cover is Pages 3D. Pages is another product, and it allows you to create complete documents. Whereas Publisher, we are making illustrations and animations. This product has a patented approach that integrates page design, page layout tools, adding text, adding tables, adding images, creating multiple pages. Very useful for creating work instruction, for creating user manuals, but it's all integrated with 3D tools built in. So many of the tools that you saw for creating illustrations are the same here. You can make exploded views, you can create those illustrations, and then you use them directly in the document while you're working on it. Let's see. Next page. So here's kind of some examples. Printed manuals like this, illustrated parts list. You have an illustration on one side and your parts list table on the other. This is an interactive document as you click through it. The animations, basically the same way we made that animation for a movie, could be inserted into a document in this way. And then you hit next, 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 and it goes through, displays your text, and displays the steps of your document. Assembly instructions, work instructions, and then text list assembly instructions. Kind of a very similar process, but we're going to automatically lay out the pages for you using the Smart Templates instead of just making illustrations. There's another meeting. It's already set up. If you want to register for that, there's a link right there. I'll send that link to you guys too following the meeting here. And that'll be in 2 weeks, I think, from tomorrow. It's the day after Election Day if you're in the U.S. there. So that's one way to remember when it is too. And it'd be the same time, 10 o'clock on that day. This just is kind of pointing out that there's a lot of depth, all the tools that you need in order to generate communication tools from your 3D. And how do we compare with others out there? I think this is an informative chart that shows two ways. In Publisher 3D, we compete very well with not only price point, but with feature set. And you can see in the graph there some of the ways that plays out. And on the Pages side of things, it's a very unique product. By combining page layout and the 3D together, you eliminate the need to use a couple tools, and you pull it all together into one, which makes managing these things long-term very much easier, and it makes the creation less frustrating. You don't have to jump between a bunch of products to get work instructions out or to get interactive documents created.